Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Jamie, aka Rick here, bringing you part 20 of my GTA4 Let's Play. In this episode, as you see, I go to Playboy X's mansion for the first time, really. I mean, I met him in the last one, as I was doing missions for Elizabeth, but this one, you know, I go to his mansion, do a job for him. But before I explain what the mission is, we meet Dwayne for the first time. He's a new character, just comes into it, he's just come out of jail. You don't really find out what for yet. I'm not sure if you do a bit further on, because I haven't really played much past this now. I didn't play it much on the Xbox when I had it. So yeah, so I met Dwayne, and yeah, I'll probably be doing missions with him in the future, I'd imagine. This Playboy X mission, I go to a building site, construction yard, whatever you want to call it, and basically we've got to push the union workers out, really, because Playboy wants to help the developer of the site, you know, get the buildings up and running, so it can improve the city, because that's what Playboy wants, really. He wants the city to thrive and be successful. So yeah, that will help, obviously, getting the union out so you can go ahead with the building. So first of all, I obviously take a sniper rifle up there and pick off a couple of scouts, call them, so I can approach the building a bit closer. And I'll do that, switch to the AK-47 and proceed to take out all the, you know, the other union workers there. And then after going, it's probably the first big shootout I've really done. So I mean, this is kind of what GTA is about. But yes, the first time I've really done anything that major, you know, shootouts wise. So yeah, it's quite exciting, first time. And so eventually get to the boss. You have to take out a couple of head union workers, and then you get to the boss and you take him out right at the end as he's trying to escape. But yeah, so it's not amazingly difficult, but I do it on quite low health, and I only get hit twice, I think. So one more bullet I probably would have died, but you know, got to get myself healed up at some point. So haven't stopped to eat or anything like that. So yeah, after that it switches to me going to an internet cafe, which because I got a phone call from Roman, or a text or something, telling me to check my emails to see if the dating site's got back to me about my date with the guy. I can't remember what his name is, but yeah, so I meet up with him at a diner back near where I started, pretty much. I think it was where I took Michelle on one of the dates that we went on. But yeah, so it's to there. Yeah, we have a little chat, and he mentions Gay Tony, which is one of the expansion packs is about him, so that's pretty cool, little Easter egg kind of thing there. I know they're all linked together really well, because I think they wrote the stories before they actually released the game, but it seems they did, because they cut into each other quite well. Yeah, so I kill him obviously because he's not paying Brucey. I think that's why it is. Then I go and see Brucey after that, and we're going on a mission. I'm not exactly sure yet what yet. We're going to get a car from his mate Steven for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why yet. I'll find out in the next episode. So yeah, that's what happens in the video. But in this video I'm going to be talking about work. So, you know, it's not the most amazing thing, but you know, it's kind of something you have to do. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now if I hadn't gone to work. So, you know, first of all I'm going to talk about work experience, because obviously something that in the UK we do, I think it's year 10 at high school, so you're about 14, 15 when you do it, and it basically applies to a place for work experience. It's 2 weeks, 1 or 2 weeks, depending on how long you want to do it for. But yeah, so it's basically just to teach you, you have a mock interview type thing, as if you're going for a real job, so that gets you used to that idea, because when you're 16 you can get a job and start earning money for yourself. So that's basically what it's for. It's just to get you used to that experience of knowing what to do, you know, how to apply to a job, what you expect in the interview, and then just working for a company on a day-to-day basis or whatever, whenever you're going to work. Yeah, I think that helped me out a lot, because I was quite, you know, shy person. I still am to a reasonable extent, but I think that experience, you know, helped me out a little bit, because I worked in a coffee lounge, in Braintree where I live, and serving obviously coffee and food to customers. I think the taking orders obviously helped me beat that being shy quite a little bit, or not a little bit, because obviously you got to talk to people, you got to communicate, and you got to serve the customers, make sure they're happy with their order and everything. So before I probably wouldn't have done that. I found it quite difficult, if I'm honest, to actually do that. But after into the second week, I was quite alright. I was quite good at it, I would say. And but then I asked to go into the kitchen because I was at the front, making the coffees and all that, serving the customers. I wasn't allowed to take money, obviously, because I wasn't old enough. But yeah, I was at the front for most of that, and then I asked to go in the kitchen in the second week, which they said that'd be fine, which I really enjoyed. So it was making like sandwiches and salads, paninis, that type of stuff. So that was really good. I mean, the people I worked with for those 2 weeks are amazing people. So really funny. I got along well with them. So one of them was quite the Xbox fanatic, so that always helps when you've got someone like that you've got something in common with. And he got me into Pro Evolution Soccer. So I was a FIFA person before that. I mean, I still play FIFA today, but I don't know. He told me to buy, or he didn't tell me to buy, but suggested that I could try Pro Evo. So on one of my lunch breaks, went out with the money I got from the tips, because that was, you don't get paid for work experience. I mean, some people do, but this company didn't. They just gave me the share of the tips at the end of the day, which paid out quite well because it was quite busy in there. So I got a fair amount of money from that, which was good. So I went down to Game and bought Pro Evo 5, I think it was, for like a couple of quid because it was quite old at this point. This was 07, I think. So yeah, I think it's 5 or 6, I can't remember one of them, but it was only a couple of quid, and I really enjoyed playing it, so that was all good. But yeah, obviously I came in quite early one morning to do like kind of the opening of the restaurant in the kitchen, just to see like what they had to do in the mornings to get it ready for lunchtime or whatever. Because that's when it was most busy, really, lunchtime. So it wasn't that busy in the morning. About 10:30 onwards, I reckon it was quite busy. So the first day I got there at 9 when it was open, and it wasn't busy at all until like 10:30. So after that, he told me to come in at 10, the manager, and just ready for when they start to get busy. I mean, and I went home early as well because it obviously closes at 5. But I normally went home about 3:30, 4 o'clock, I think, because obviously again it wasn't very busy at all, and they didn't really need me there. And a couple of days I stayed there and closed up with them just to see what that was like as well. So yeah, and the opening, obviously you need to do all the prep and that in the kitchen, like the salad stuff, and make sure you got the buns and bread and all that you needed. All the ingredients for the salads and the sandwiches and everything was fresh and in date and all that sort of stuff, so you had the right amount for the day. I mean, it was quite close to Tesco, so at some point, I think one time we ran out of tomatoes, and then another time we ran out of mayonnaise. So they sent me over there, Tesco's, just to go and get that. I mean, obviously that's quite handy, having Tesco's quite near. You can just go over there and buy some stuff you needed. And it was only a little place, so they didn't really need to have a delivery. They just basically needed to go to a supermarket really to get what they needed for the day, really. So that was quite handy. And some things they did get delivered in, because you can't buy them in big enough like bulk for a little calf. Like most of the bread and stuff and the paninis and all that sort of stuff was ordered in, but the rest of it they could kind of get away with not ordering it in, just getting it local, so it's fresh every day. What else? So yeah, when I was closing up, obviously it's cleaning everything down, making sure everything's clean, ready for the morning, and that's pretty much it really, just cleaning up. That's what the end of the days normally are in a restaurant or a coffee shop like that, just cleaning everything up. It's not the most exciting job, obviously, but have a bit of music on, talk to each other while you're doing it. It's quite enjoyable actually, because obviously during the day you're all working and you don't exactly get to talk as much, so So it's quite relaxing at the end of the day to do that. So yeah, that was while I was still at high school. Obviously I had paper rounds after that, which were alright. They paid okay, obviously, but not the best, because it's not a high paid job, is it? It's just something you do to get a little bit of money while you're at school, which is not the worst thing. I mean, it's good to get into the routine of getting your own money, because eventually you will have to, which I'm finding now. Now I work, once I left school, once I'd done my exams, and I hadn't found out the results, but it was like June, July time, I think. I was looking for a job, handing CVs left, right and centre, I had a couple of interviews. I think I had one at Sainsbury's, but the hours weren't exactly what I was looking for at the time. And then I had one at Burger King, it's a place where pretty much every teenager can get a job. So it's not exactly the most difficult job in the world. I mean, obviously they can train you quite quickly, but being competent at it, takes a reasonable amount of time. But they have a high staff in and out. Obviously they're hiring all the time. People just leave. It's not for them, or they're moving on. They don't need the job anymore. This and that. But so the turnover's quite high, but mainly as some people that stayed there quite a while. So you have the managers who will have been there a long time, so they know what they're doing, obviously. But so since I worked there, I started working through the summer holidays. I worked most days. I mean, obviously it weren't huge hours at the time. It was just like 3 or 4 hours when I first started, and I was in the kitchen there. So I think the fact that I had been in the kitchen before, where I went on work experience, helped me out a little bit there. So obviously gave me the upper hand on some other people that hadn't done their work experience in like a restaurant or whatever. So I don't know if that helped me get the job. I doubt it did. I mean, it's just seeing someone that's old enough to have the job, and they pretty much get the job, unless you're weird or something like that. You're not quite normal. But then it's the kind of place where most youngsters apply. You got to start somewhere at the end of the day. I mean, you don't expect to have the best job as your first job, unless you're really lucky, obviously, and your parents own a business or whatever, or you just happen to be there at the right time to get that job. But I mean, working there has brought me a lot of opportunities. It sounds a bit strange, but obviously while I was at college, I could afford to feed myself, which obviously normally I used to take like sandwiches and stuff to school, but when I was there I had like Domino's and stuff like that, Burger King's quite a lot. So that was good in that aspect, I suppose, that I could have my own money and spend it on what I wanted. And that was where my kind of Xbox thing started, because obviously I had the money, I could afford the Xbox Live and all that, I could afford the games, all that good stuff. So that really started then when I got the job, because I had an Xbox and that before, but I couldn't really afford the gold membership because I didn't have any money income, and my parents weren't up for paying for it, because I don't know, to start with they didn't agree with it, which I can understand, because I did spend quite a lot of time on my Xbox. So after a while they kind of came round and let me have it. So once I got my job, I paid for it myself, and that's where it started, really. Hasn't really stopped since, which is it's like 3 years ago now I got this job. I'm still there now. I know it's quite sad. I've been looking for a new job for ages, but with the current economic climate, it's quite difficult to find another job. That's the only reason I'm really staying in this job, because it looks better for when you're applying for a new job if you've got a job already. So obviously they know that you're reliable, and that obviously you wouldn't have a job. So that's kind of the only reason I'm staying there, because I don't like it that much at the moment. I mean, it gets me by money wise, and the people that I work with are amazing, which is half of it really. I probably would have left quite a while ago if that wasn't the case. So. But as well as the college stuff, I mean, it's allowed me to build my own computer, which it's probably one of the greatest things I've done with the money that I've earned. So it's the computer I'm using now. So before I was using a laptop, I was just playing WoW, like casually, just leveling up with friends, you know. I wasn't really using the computer like for what it's for, like for its potential, but this one, I mean, now it's being used for its potential. It's the encoding of the videos and everything. So, you know, put strain on it, obviously. Runs that CPU quite well. And it's a powerful CPU and everything. The graphics card's like pretty high, top of the range. It's not top, but because they're really expensive, and Burger King doesn't pay fantastically, but you know, it's good. It gets me by. So I've got a GTX 460, so it's not exactly shabby. It's pretty new as well. So I only got it a few months ago. It's an MSI one as well. It's got the like a really good cooling on it, so it runs so cool. It's unreal. My old one was a bit temperamental, could say. It overheated occasionally, which is never good. So I bought this new one before I started the videos, just to make sure that it could handle it. I mean, it's helped out quite a bit. And obviously running GTA as well, which was a lot harder on the old graphics card. Didn't run nowhere near as smoothly as it does now. Still doesn't run amazingly on this one. I must admit, it's quite a heavy game on the CPU usage and everything, graphics. But yeah, it's all good. I'm running it at 720p, so it's alright. It can run it at 1080, it's just a bit, I don't know, a bit juttery at sometimes, like pauses just for no reason, but yeah, it runs fine at 720, as you can see. What else? Obviously a TV. I've got my new TV. I was using a 19-inch TV for absolutely years. I think before that I was even on a 15 when I first got my Xbox. But then I bought a 19-inch monitor. When I first got my computer, I had a 19-inch monitor and a 19-inch TV. I used to dual screen my computer, and have my Xbox in my TV at the same time, so that was really helpful. But yeah, still, it's not that big TV. But then, a few months back, I decided to finally get myself a proper TV, as you may say. It's a 32-inch now, full HD. So, yes, it's amazing TV. It's nice to lay back on my bed and watch films and stuff on. Whereas before, I had to kind of sit up and sit quite close to the screen, obviously, to see it because it was only a 19-inch. So yeah, that's good. It uses the full graphic potential of my PS3 and Xbox. So that's obviously helped me out a lot. Well, not helped me out, but given me a more enjoyable experience when playing games and stuff. So it look better, and you don't have to sit right close. Because before I sat really close to my screen. I still do sit quite close, but you can sit back a bit more. And I think because it's a lot crisper and sharper, that I can see much finer details on like Call of Duty maps. So when I first got it, I could notice the difference so much. I mean, Wasteland, before Modern Warfare 2, if you get a ghillie suit laying in the ground, it's quite hard to see on a 19-inch monitor. But on a 32-inch TV that's really crisp and full HD, I could spot them. They were just laying there. I could see them camping in the grass. So that was good fun, being able to spot that, because it's quite annoying when you're walking along and you just get shot from the grass and you have no idea why or anything. So yeah, that was good when I first took it out of the box and plugged all my stuff into it. I mean, I used it as a second monitor at one point, but it's not the best picture. I think obviously monitor pictures are designed to have the computer plugged into them, so I mean they're a lot better picture. The TV was a bit, I don't know, it wasn't as crisp as it is with the Xbox and PS3, or my monitor is with my computer. So yeah, so I built my computer. I've updated it and bought more accessories for it over time. Obviously the microphone that I'm using now, I bought recently. I've got another hard drive I put into it. External hard drive, 2TB external, which is an absolute beast. Western Digital. So yeah, big fan of Western Digital. I've got a smaller removable hard drive with theirs. That was for my college work and stuff when I was at college. So I mean, they're really helpful to have. I'd definitely recommend getting one if you haven't got one already. I bought speakers for it, obviously. I bought a headset, a Rocat Cave headset. It's obviously amazing. So surround sound and everything. And I started off with a Razer Death Adder as a mouse. That was the first one I had. But now I've got a Razer Naga, which is a lot better. I mean, DPI wise, a bit higher. so you know you can be a bit more precise with it. Obviously it's got the 12 buttons on the side, so for MMOs and stuff it's quite handy. I've even started programming like my first person shooters to the buttons, so like Brink and stuff, you've got your buffs on those keys, which obviously is really easy, and you can switch between, like with the engineer, mine, turret and Kevlar buffs, which is really good, really handy to have. And see your grenades and specials and stuff on Modern Warfare 2 and all that stuff, so you don't have to take your hand off of WSD or like control and space. You can kind of keep your hand there, you don't have to move it about, which is really useful obviously because you can maintain control while you're throwing a grenade or switching weapons or getting a kill streak up, because before I had to like reach over to 6, you know, so you have lost control of your character a little bit when you're doing that. But you know, as I programmed it to the buttons on the Naga, you know, it's a lot easier. It's all in one place. Takes a little bit getting used to, like moving your thumb and getting the right buttons. But after about a month, I think, fairly accurate now. I don't really need to look at it anymore. To start with, I was like pausing and looking what buttons I'm pressing and stuff. But now, you know, you can kind of feel, because the second row, 4, 5, 6, has got like a line on it. So you can feel when you're on those. I mean, the last row, 10, 11, 12. Because my hands are quite big, it's quite hard to get to. But I think 4, 5 and 6 is like the natural place for my thumb, so I program the most important stuff to those. So it's really helpful to have, so definitely recommend the Naga. It's pretty high DPI, it's got a lot of customization options, and it feels really nice in your hand as well. So even though my hands are quite big and the Def Adder is probably more suited to my hands, it's quite comfortable, I have to say. What else? Obviously phone as well, that's another thing having a job's helped me get. I mean, I always had a pretty crappy phones before. I mean, obviously because I couldn't afford much, I either had pay as you go and top it up when I could. My first contract phone was really cheap, it was like 15 quid or something. And then I got an iPhone when I was like halfway through college, so because I started earning more money. I pretty much worked every day that I wasn't at college, and my half day at college I even worked after that, so I worked pretty heavy hours. I mean, you know, I was pretty tired all the time, but you know, still got my college work done and kept earning money, you know, for myself. So yeah, obviously got an iPhone now, so waiting for the iPhone 5 to upgrade from my 3GS, so yeah, that should be fun. And recently I've got a car and starting lessons and all that. It's really expensive, obviously, it's hit me quite hard, but you know, it's worth it. I mean, I've got a nice Fiesta, so it's always good. So good fun. I mean, I've just started learning now. Not too great at the moment, but you know, it'll come with time, I'm sure. So that pretty much wraps it up. That's the benefits of getting a job, I'd say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.